Welcome back, everybody. This is Unconditional Surrender, the me, myself, and I playthrough of the main event scenario. Game is published by GMT Games, designed by Salvatore Vasta. We are about ready to start on June 1942. I've been having problems trying to make time, so I might end up splitting individual turns like German and Russian into more than one video. We'll see how my timer goes. I'm trying to keep it as close to 30 minutes or less with every thing. So beginning of June with the weather phase, by the new rules, you have to switch. You can't have what you had the turn before. In May, June, there's only two choices, so basically these things just flip themselves. And then one other thing that has to happen. Oh boy, I'm having a terrible time here. I need to get to one of these. Needs to be put in the cold zone. That's also part of the rules. New weather rules. I'll be adding a +1 in October for the cold zone. That's weather. Nobody's going to declare war this turn. It's the economy phase. That has pretty much been already taken care of. Germany's not giving anything away. It thinks it's going to need them all. Held that up there for a few seconds. You can freeze frame it to look at the numbers if you so desire. We're going to go straight into strategic warfare. The Axis is +1. The Russians are +2. If I remember right, I do have submarines, but the British have Ultra and the Russians don't have partisans. So I'm going to save my thing for the British, assuming that they're going to throw Ultra at me. Try and preserve myself. So the die roll here. Germany rolls a 2 + 1 is a 3. The Russians roll a 1 + 2 is a 3. So a 3 to a 3 is we both get a factory loss marker down 1. The Russians are at the bottom. The Germans just joined them there. Then on the western side, the British are at +2 because the Americans are in. The Germans are at +3. Then we have to go to combat commitment. The British don't think they're going to need their Ultra for a while, so they're going to commit, and the Germans are going to commit, assuming that the British would, because they're trying to get my factories down. So we're both going to end up committing. That's just sort of a logic thing that I run through my head to see. I didn't see anything in pre-game that would mean +1 in the combat would make a difference for the British. So we have our die rolls. The Germans roll 6 + 3 is a 9, but it's halved to 4.5, so it rounds up to a 5. And the British roll a 3 + 5 comes down to 2.5, rounds up to a 3. So that's a 5 to a 3. I may have gotten a 5 to 3. Yes, I did get a British factory loss marker, so they go up 1. And the Germans can't go down any farther. And that's strategic warfare. Oh, not quite. We have to put our things on the thing. Here's the German die roll. Hey, 6 turns for the submarines. We aren't going to see them for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till December. And the British roll a 2. So they'll get theirs back in August. Okay. Now we're on to strategic movement. I have to jump around here. I'm not sure about the Axis. I'm pretty sure I don't have a useful strategic move for them at this point. Nope, I think I'm going to have to say that I'm not having one for them. The West does have one. They're going to put their strategic marker on the guys in Cairo, and they're going to strategically move them up in front of the planes, just to keep the Italians from even thinking about running into my planes. Although I probably would enjoy it if they did. I just don't want to see it. And in the Russians, I'm pretty sure that they've got everything pretty much where they're at. They don't want to try and anticipate where the Germans are going to blow the hole in the line, because they probably will. So they're just going to kind of sit and wait. So no strategic movement there. And we're only at 7 minutes, so we're going to start the Axis operations phase and see how far I can get. First thing that we start, always, the airplanes. So the one in the south to get into Rostov. The Germans are at -2 net, and the Russians are at -4. And this is just to see if I can get a 2-for-1 split. Germans need to roll 5 or 6 to even have a chance. First die roll for the Germans is a 4, so they don't get anywhere, so that will be 2 on the British and 2 on the Germans. Oops. 2 on the Russians, 2 on the British. Sorry, wrong country there. Let's see. Yeah, the Germans will go with this one in the middle to the one back in Borznov, or whatever that name of that thing is. Same thing, need a 5 or 6. Ooh, I got a 5. And the Russians roll 4 minus 4 is a 1, so I get my 2-for-1 split here. They take 2 and I take 1. Basically, the 5 minus 2 made it a 3, which means if he doesn't roll a 6, I get 2 on him. So that's good. Now we're going to have this one at the junction is going to go after Bologoya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. He's going to go after the one in the north and see how we do there. And the Germans roll a 3, so they didn't get a 2-for-1 there. So the one down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is going to go against the one in Reserve. Now I'm a -3, so I have to roll a 6 to have a chance at 2-for-1. Nope, didn't get it. So this one goes up to 6. He goes up to 5. Well, that's disappointing. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to have to take a sortie here to make that one go to 6, and a sortie here to make that one go to 6. I just can't have Russian airplanes in clear weather. When it's fair weather, I cannot have Russian airplanes adding +2 to the defense. They're nasty enough in the defense as it is with stuff. I'm not done with my operations. So now the Germans, move them over a little bit, and they'll go down here to around Kursk. We'll start the combats there. Okay, so they spend 1, activate the 17th? No, the 10th. There he is. Activate the 10th, he'll attack the 37th. The Germans are at +2. The Russians are at a 0. The wrong way there. For now. I'm going to try and save my tanks markers for Rostov and Leningrad. Those are things where if I can stop them from taking those, I keep some factories. So that's where the Russians are going to try and preserve their tanks unless there's a huge looming breakthrough, like they're going to run all the way to Moscow or something. So Germans roll at +2. 5 + 2 is a 7, and the Russians have a regular die roll of 2. So let's go look at the combat results table. A 7 to a 2 is a DD. So the Russians are flipped. They're going to have to go behind the river. I thought about putting him behind Kursk, but that was only a bit of if I was retreated to kind of avoid isolation. But being -2 now, I want to make him spend extra movement points to attack me. And that first attack only costs 2. So then I can spend another 3, and then I will be +1 because I'm going across the river, and the Russians will be -2, and they'll just let that go. Same thing, I'm trying to save the tanks for something a little more important, I think. So let's see how this goes. Oh, the Germans rolled a 1 + 1 is a 2. And the Russians rolled a 5 - 2 is a 3. A 2 to a 3 is just a diamond. So the Germans will spend their last 3 to do that again. Just to see if they can get across that river. and the Russians will let it go again. 3 plus 1 is a 4, so I have a 4, and the Russians get a 1 minus 2, so it ends up as a 1. So 4 to 1 is another DR. I think I'm going to retreat him northeast. There's no good place, but that makes me spend some points further north from my guys on the river. And now the Germans have to make a decision on whether they're going to take this hex or not. If they do, they still have zones of control, so yeah, we're going to head and take it. I want to get across the river. Can't do much with it, but we're trusting that good things will happen. Next, I'm going to activate the 3rd Panzer. Right, that is what that is? Yes, 3rd Panzer. For 2 more. He will attack the 12th Army. Hello. There we go. He's at 0. Going the wrong way with that. And the Germans are at +4. +2 for German, +2 for armor. I'm pretty much going to lose Kursk. There's not a lot I can do about it. I'm just trying to make him spend as many movement points as possible to take it. So yeah, I'm going to lose a shock army, but I'm not going to throw my tanks in it at this point. Like I said, the corners, Rostov and Leningrad, worry me more than most of what's going on here right now. I have space to give them here. So the Germans roll with +4. Ugh, 5 plus 4 is a 9. Ouch. And the Russians roll a 6. Wow, that's not that bad. It's a 9 to a 6. It's just a DR. Wow. I thought I was going to lose a step. So that's there, and the Germans will move in. They still have 8 movement points left. I retreated him there because I don't want to give him an immediate attack on the shock army. I want to make him try and force me to retreat. Trying to use up his movement points in attacking me, which he will do. He'll spend 2 more. +4 to 0. We'll just let it go with the Russians. 6 plus 4 is a 10. Good God. Great rolls for the Germans. 5 for the Russians. That's not bad either. 10 to a 5 is, again, just a DR. So I am surviving, but now I have to get the heck out of the way. So I'll retreat northeast to next to Orel. The Germans could take the hex. They're going to attack twice into Kursk. And I think I'm going to want that hex for like an infantry unit to come up and push him away. So I'm going to attack from where I'm at into Kursk. That's me +1, or -1 because I'm going into the city. But I'm +2 because he's isolated. So I'm a net +5, and then he's +1 because he's elite, and in shock and fair get an extra +1, so he's +2. So Germans roll at +5, Russians roll at +2. +5, 5 plus 5 is a 10, and the Russians roll 2 plus 2 is a 4. That's not a good thing. A 10 to a 4. Oh my goodness, I took it in one turn. How about that? Because it's a DD result. So what has to happen, first thing in a DD is you flip the unit, if it's not reduced. And then because he cannot retreat, I have to, a reduced unit that cannot retreat is eliminated. So the Russians will lose 1 willpower for that, for the loss of the unit. The shock army will go into the, I didn't want to do that. I just want to pick up the shock army. There we go. So that goes into his eliminated box. The Germans have 3 movement points left, so they can go here and still move 1 and attack. I just don't know where I want to attack at this point. I think I want to attack maybe this guy and try and kill him, and then have my infantry run up and take care of this. That's what I'll do. So I need to place a control marker. Come on. Place a control marker. And then by taking Kursk, the Russians lose another 2 willpower because I took a city. Okay. I have 3 movement points left. I'm going to spend 1 to go this way and attack at +4 to -2 to start. That's all my movement points. The Russians can throw in a tanks army at this point, but I think it's kind of frivolous. I think I'm just going to hang on to it. Maybe when he attacks a rel, I might use one of them. So, +4 to -2. The Germans roll a 10. It's going to be at least retreated. If rolling a 1, I know that's an elimination. I just know that from the combat results table, even if it was only a DD. But that's a regular infantry, so he'll actually come back in face up. And the German armored will go ahead and take the space. National tracks. Another will point. Down for the Russians. Ouch. It's 4 already. That's only from 2 German activations. Well, let's see how well we do in the south. Let's activate the 18th. See if we can get him to use up some of these tank markers down here. We'll attack the 27th. He's at 0. I'm at +2. I think I'm going to let it go. I get into Rostov, I might use the tank, but right now I'm just going to let it ride. +2 to a 0. Germans roll 3 +2, which is a 5. Russians roll a 1. 5 to a 1 is a defender retreat, so he will retreat into Rostov. The infantry will advance. That was 2, so he has 6 left. And he's going to spend 3 to go ahead and attack Rostov at this point. And he's -1. And this is where I'm going to commit a tanks marker for the... I have to go to combat commitment. I have to decide with the Germans if I want to use my tanks marker here. I really don't. I'm just trying to get lucky. But the Russians will definitely throw in a tanks marker. So they'll go up to +2. So it's actually their advantage now. The Germans roll with a +1. 1 + 1 is a 2. Not good. The Russians roll a 2. +2 is a 4. Let's check that. A 2 to a 4 is an AS, so I don't get another attack with the German. He's just done. Oh, did I just highlight the airplane? And then the tanks marker goes on the turn track for the next turn. Get that up there real quick. Chink. Then we'll activate the 2nd Panzer. He's going to attack the 20, whatever that is. Zoom in real quick. The 26th. He is at a net. The Germans are a net +3. He's at a 0. He doesn't have a retreat route, and I only have 2 tank markers left, and I'm not ready to use them here, so I'm probably going to just lose this unit over some combats. The German still has 7 movement points left because it cost him 3 to do that. German rolls at +3. 1 + 3 is a 4. The Russians roll another 1, so they are flipped. And now they'll be -2. The Germans will spend 3 more, so they have 4 movement points left. And then they attack. +3? Yeah. Oh boy, another 4? Jeez. And at -2, the Russians aren't rolling any better than me. And the retreat does kill the unit. So he would go here. A faction card comes up on top of him, of course. Goes up in there. That's another will point. So 3 units and a city. I've lost 5 will points already. Now the important thing that comes up here is this. No enemy zone of control. So the Panzer is here. He only has 4 movement points left, so even if I moved ahead 2, I wouldn't be able to attack Rostov. But I'm thinking that maybe I could spend 1 movement point here and attack once at the 4th to try and make it retreat, or I could attack once at the 16th to make the 4th and the 8th to not have retreat routes. 6 one, half dozen the other at this point, I think. We will try. We're just going to try and attack straight ahead. So that's 3 to go across the river. And again, I'm at +3. He's at a 0. And the Russians are just going to let it ride. They held Rostov. That's the important part for this turn. +3 to 0. 3 + 3 is a 6. They rolled a 2. 6 to a 2, I believe, is just a DR. Yes, it is. I just have to check those. 6, 7, and 8 kind of confuse me sometimes. So the Russians have to retreat, and they're going to retreat to here to avoid that. Well, they will have no retreat route, but yeah, I think that might be the best place. And then the Panzer is going to go ahead and take the space. Actually, the Russian would retreat to here because that would force the Panzer to take the space to avoid giving me a retreat route. So, and it lets me set up for a possible 3x assault on this Panzer. Maybe. Not likely. Okay. I've got enough time to possibly do 1 or 2 more attacks here. Let's do one of the more important ones here. The 4th Panzer is going to attack the 4th shock. So he's at +4. The Panzer is, and +1 for an elite, +1 for shock. So it's a 4 to 2. That costs me 2 movement points to attack this guy. Clear up my highlighted units. 4 to a 2. Could throw in an airplane. He can't throw anything in. I'm going to let it go at 4 + 2 and see what happens. 4 to a 2, and here we go. Oh, a 6 + 4 is a 10. The Russians roll. A 1 + 2 is a 3. A 10 to a 3 is a DD result. So he has to be flipped, and he does get to retreat 1 space. Well, how interesting is that? That makes me almost want to attack him immediately because he's at -1 net, or he's at 0, and I'd be at +3. Chance to kill a shock army at favorable odds. I don't get that very often. Or I could try to damage this one at +4 to +2. I think I'm going to go +3 to 0. It's a bigger spread, 3-point spread versus 2-point spread. Let's see if that works out. That costs me 3, so I'm down to 5 movement points. 2 + 3 is a 5, and he's just a straight die roll. A 5. 5 to a 5 is nothing. So I'm going to spend 3 more and try and get him again. +3, a 4, and the Russians roll a 5. -2 is a 3. Oh, wait a minute. The first one, he was a 5 minus. Oh, he's not -2. He's just straight up because he's normally +2. So yeah, 4 to a 5 is a nothing. I only have 2 movement points left. I will go ahead and just spend them to attack this shock army. He'll be +2. I'll be +4. Just to see if I can make something happen here. And +4 to +2. 3 + 4 is a 7. 6 + 2 is an 8. That's a nothing. So that's the end of that. One more attack here. The 8th. Or is that the 6th? The 6th will be activated. And I need to go back and take out my. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 9 production points. I started at 28, so I should be down to 19 now. And I'm going to attack the 23rd. He doesn't have a retreat route, so I'm +2, and he's a 0. I'm not going to use tank markers here. I'd rather just lose the unit. I've held the line pretty well. 2 + 2 is a 4 to a 4, so that's nothing. Now I have 4 movement points left as I attack a second time. 4 + 2 is a 6 to a 5, and he laughs at me again. So now I have 2 movement points left. 4 + 2 is a 6 and a 2. I think I finally did something. Look, a 6 to a 2 actually does something. He's forced to retreat and he can't, so he flips. And now he'll be -2 and I'll be +2. And I'll spend my last 2 movement points to do that. 3 + 2 is a 5. And he rolled a 1. So he does get eliminated. Let's put on the card. Flipped. He will lose a national will for that. So, wow, he's lost 6 national will this turn so far. And I will take the hex. Technically, I get no enemy zone of control, but I got no movement points left, so it doesn't help. Trying to see if there's anything else here. Well, there's a couple of other attacks. I'm up to about 26 minutes. Let's see if I can get... One, two, three, four, 5. Well, let me take a rel, which would be good. Yeah, let's do that. 15th. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5 to attack him. He's at 0. I'm at +2. So we're attacking at a row. There is combat commitment. No one commits. It's just not worth it. That was another German point. Actually, it should be 2 down, I think. I'll double check this before I start up the next segment. This is going to be the last attack of this segment. So +2 to +0. The Germans roll 1 + 2 is a 3. The Russians roll a 2. 3 to a 2 is nothing. The Germans spend 2 more. That means I'm not going to be able to move into a row. How annoying. Okay, and then they roll 5 + 2 is a 7, and the Russians roll a 6. So the Russians aren't going anywhere. So, well, I do have like 2 more attacks. Maybe 3. Before I go after the big one. You know what? I'm going to split this video here. You're going to hear some silence after I sign out here. This is going to be the first part of the June 1942 turn. The second part will involve the ending of the German turn and probably the beginning of the Western Allied turn. And then we'll probably have a third segment that will be the Russian turn and the end of turn phases. Trying to keep these to 30-minute blurbs, and I'm real close to that right now. So I'm going to stop this video here. We're going to come back. It's going to look just like this when I come back up. And we'll see if I can't get this into 30-minute chunks for everybody for these turns. Because I think from now on I'm going to probably have to do this. And see, there's my alarm. So I'm going to stop the video here. This is Dren608. If you like what you see, subscribe, leave me notes. We'll be back picking up right at this point in the next episode, or next part of this episode, I should say.